What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome back. This is a great time of year because this is where you get hungry. This is where you get aggressive. This is where you get excited about what you're going to produce this year, your goals, your big vision, your big plan. We last couple of videos, we spent some time coming up with your vision, coming up with your plan. And now it's time to put that plan in motion. And so now we're going on the next series of several videos. We're going to talk about how do you execute your plan. How do you make sure you stay the course? How do you make sure you bring that plan to fruition to actually produce the big vision, the big goal, the big dream that you set for yourself? And so this week we're talking about execution. This is execution week, and so we're going to walk through a series of things, tips, tricks, plans to help you not just come up with a plan and a vision, but actually carry it out so that you can manifest the goal that you want this year. And so the first part today what we're going to talk about is I call it the weekly planning and review process. And typically you do it on Mondays because that's where you start the week off strong. So it's a process we're going to go through every week to walk through how do you execute and stay the course for your goals. And let's talk about a little bit about your goals and how do you get there. So typically where people go wrong. So when you look at your goal, let's imagine like you're trying to fly from San Francisco to New York. New York is the goal. That's the end destination. And this is whatever your goal is. Your goal is your end destination. It's the thing that you're trying to get to. And so if you look at like typically if you route how a plane gets to its end destination, it's not a straight line. A plane doesn't just set out with a series of coordinates one time and then just magically shows up at its end destination. If you look at the way a plane its actual flight path, it's a series of jagged lines and curves. Because what happens is the plane sets out in a direction and then all of a sudden the wind hits it. It gets a little turbulence. It gets pushed a little bit off its course. And so now on board, the plane has, hundreds of instrumentation devices that assesses where it is and then helps it set a new direction and guides it back on course. And then a few seconds later, the instrumentation takes another measurement. Where is it right now relative to where it should be, and then sets a new direction and guides it back on course. So a plane is doing these series of course corrections the entire time it's trying to get to its end destination. And so ultimately it ends up where it desired to get to. Now, our goals are the same way. We set off at the beginning of the year on a straight path thinking we're going to just go straight to the goal, get straight to the end destination, get straight to the vision that we've set for ourselves. But then the wind of life happens. Things come up, family situations get in the way, obligations come up, urgent matters get thrown on our plates, and next thing you know, we're off course. Next thing you know, we're spending a lot of our time, effort, and energy dedicated to things that don't necessarily support the goals that we set for ourselves. And so if we don't have these opportunities to make these course corrections throughout the course of the year, we'll notice that we'll end up somewhere in Massachusetts or even Toronto, right? We're going to be far off from our end destination if we don't have these strategic points throughout the year to make these course corrections. And that's what we're going to do with this Monday planning process. The planning process is, one, assess where we are, take our current measurement. Where are we? Are we still on course? Are we off course? And then two, set a new plan. Let's get back on course. Let's get back to headed towards that thing that we're trying to achieve this year. And so that's the purpose of the planning process, is so that we can get as fast as we can to the end destination. Now, again, it's broken into two parts. One, review your progress and make adjustments. And then two, get back on course, plan your next big moves, come up with your plan for that week. So I'm going to walk you through an example of how that works. So the first thing we're going to do is start off with our goal. What is the goal that we're trying to achieve? And typically this is an annual goal. And then in this last several videos, I showed you how we chunk that goal down into a series of sprints, right? So that big goal is so big, it's so far off, so unattainable that it's hard for us to really get excited about it. So we're going to break that down into a series of sprints, a series of finish lines that's right in front of us that gives us a little bit momentum and keeps us a little bit more aggressive towards these smaller sprints. So we break that down into a 30-day sprint. So you got this big goal. Now you chunk it down into, okay, to get to that goal, what do I have to do in the next 30 days? And then now we're going to chunk that down even again. And we're going to break that down to a weekly goal. So whatever that monthly goal is divided by 4, you got your weekly goal. And now that's the goal I'm trying to hit that week. And now all you have to do really now at that point is ask yourself, okay, if that's my goal to hit this week, what do I have to do to hit that target? Let me brainstorm and list everything that I have to get done this week in order for me to realize that target. So that's I call this the chunking down process. You take your big goal and you chunk it down to these smaller obtainable goals. And then once you get down to your weekly target, say, what do I have to do to hit that target this week? And so let me go through a quick example for you. So this is one of my examples that I've been using. My goal is to get to 100 active members inside the Morning Hero program. That's a yearly goal. Now, I broke that down to, okay, if that's the yearly goal for this month, I want to hit 10. 10 is my target for this month. Now, I realize 10 isn't exactly 100 divided by 12, but you'll do the math the way you want. I know this month is a little bit. I like to start the year off strong, so I schedule it that I get more members at the beginning of the year than towards the end of the year. And so every month your goal will change depending on how you want to structure it. So it doesn't always have to be, your goal divided by 12 to get to the monthly goal. It's strategically how you want to set it. So I want to get 10 new members this month. That's my monthly goal. Now, what do I have to produce this week to hit 10 new members this month? In my case, I want to get 3 new members this week. That keeps me on pace to hit my monthly goal, which is 10, which then keeps me on pace to hit my yearly goal, which is 100. So we gradually chunk it down from a yearly to a monthly to a weekly goal. And now I know my weekly target. My weekly target is 3 new members. What do I have to get done this week for me to produce 3 new members? And then I started just brainstorming everything I could do this week. Okay, well, I'm going to do an email campaign to my list that normally produces a couple of members. I want to post to social media every single day because that's where I kind of build up my brand. I'm going to I should run Facebook ads to those posts that I put out there. And then maybe I offer my current clients an incentive, a referral bonus if they bring on and refer me to any new people. And so these are all the things that I brainstormed that I could do this week that'll produce 3 new members. And you'll notice one of them is a daily thing. And next to each one, I put what day I think I'm going to do that thing. One of them is a daily. We talked about this in the last video or in previous videos, but that's the critical action. The critical action is the daily habit or behavior that has the biggest impact towards you producing your goal. And since it's a daily habit, that one I want to highlight because that's the one I want to do first every day. Every day, I just want to build it into my morning routine so that it's just on autopilot. It's a daily thing. I just need to be on autopilot with it. And so that one is the critical action. And so you'll put next to each action, either it's a one-time thing. If it's a one-time thing, what day are you going to do it? If it's a daily thing, just put daily and then try to build it into your calendar where you do it at the exact same time every day. That way you become, it gets easier. You stop fighting it and you stop resisting it and you just become on autopilot. It's just a part of your routine. Like you brush your teeth, I make my social media posts. It's a part of my routine. So anything that's daily, you want to build it in as a part of your routine. And so the great way I like to do it is make it a part of my morning routine. And so that's why I highlighted that one, because that one is the critical action. So this is an example of how I chunk down from my yearly goal to a monthly to a weekly target and then brainstorm the action plan for that week. Now that's the planning part. I'm doing it in reverse order. Now let me show you how to do the review part where you do the assessment. And this is this was pretty easy. At the beginning of the week, You want to just review what happened last week. Last week you had an action plan. Did you hit your action plan? Did you hit everything? Did you get 100% of everything done? And so the first thing you'll do is that was I able to execute at 100% last week? Did I get everything done that I set out to do? Now notice here, I'm not saying, did I hit my goal last week? Remember my goal was to get 3 new members. I'm not asking myself, did I hit 3 new members? And I want to make this distinction. I'm only asking myself, did I hit all my actions? Because the goal is we call it the lagging indicator. You don't really have control over the goal. You don't have control. I don't have control over if people sign up for the program. What I have control over is the actions. And so I really only want to measure, did I hit my actions? I don't want to measure, did I actually hit the goal? Because that one will lag. That may happen sometime in the future. And I don't want to demotivate myself by measuring if I'm hitting that goal every week, because some weeks you will hit it, some weeks you won't hit it. All you really want to pay attention to is, are you doing the actions? Because over time, if you keep doing the actions over time, the goal will happen. So we don't measure on the weekly basis if you're actually hitting the goal. We're only measuring, did you execute all of your actions? So that's a really clear distinction. You're measuring actions, not goals. And so if I didn't hit all my actions for that week, what got in the way? And then what can I do this coming week to make sure that I hit all my actions this week? And so that's the first part. That part takes about 5 minutes. So if you look at the whole process, you'll start the day with just reviewing the previous week. Did I hit all my actions last week? And if not, what got in my way and what held me up, and what can I do to make sure that I don't get held up again? And then you start planning that current week. Okay, what's my target for this week, and what everything I have to get done this week in order to realize that target? And that's like I said, that whole process will take probably about 15 minutes. But once you get settled into doing this process, you'll notice it keeps you on course all year long. Now you're constantly assessing, am I on course? Am I on target? And if not, how do I get back on? And let me plan out my moves this week. And so when you spend it takes about 15 minutes, but this 15-minute process will keep you really clear and keep you on pace for the week. So you don't start straying and doing all these other shiny object things and not and straying off course from hitting your goals. So this is the process. Your homework today is to go through a planning process. How'd you do last week? And then more importantly, what do you have to get done this week to hit your weekly target? All right, heroes, I'll see you in the next video.